Today we're going to be learning about an artist named Anya Brock, and we're going to be creating art similar to hers and one of her features of the Budgies. So we know Budgies as parrots, but they're also known as Budgies, and they come from, or more native to Australia. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to draw a Budgie. We're going to add in some paints to the body of it, add on black lines later, some white on the top, and then also go in, cut it out, and put in a nice color background. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to be starting with making our budgies today. So you've got your paper. I want you to put your name on your paper and your teacher code. So whatever it is for your teacher code. And then what you'll do is you'll flip your paper over, and I know you're ready to do the next step. So I've got my little ducky here. I know we're going to be making a budgie, but thinking about the birds that we have, a budgie is just a type of bird that a lot of us have here in America, except they really do, or they originate from Australia. So we're going to make just the head shape so we can make it nice and large. And what I want us to be able to come up and leave some space, but we should have about here is where the top of our budgie's head should be. So you have a good enough space, at the top, but we should have a significant large type of bird. So the first thing that we'll do is we're going to make a rainbow shape. So I kind of go off to the curve like this, and then I'm going to go off this way. Okay, so we got the start of our head. And then what we do is we're going to come down a little bit, and then you're going to bring it all the way down to the bottom. So just remember, these are birds. They have feathers. They're going to have this kind of dome-shaped head, but then their plumage changes their features a little bit too, and that's totally fine. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to kind of do where we want the face to go. So I'm going to do a curve here. And remember, we're doing this lightly. So draw light until you get it right. And then we're going to make the eyes on the side. So I'm going to do 2 little circles on our side like this. Try to make them equal enough, but if they're not, that's completely fine as well. And then right between it, I want you to start with a dot. And we're going to make almost like a heart shape just to kind of give it our budgie, look to it. So I'm going to do a curve coming on one side and another. It looks like a very wide M, or a bird flying, I should say. And then we're going to come down and match it. So it looks like a heart right now. Good. And then from here, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go like this, and now it looks like our budgie's nose, okay? You'll notice in her drawings, she's got some shadow where she does one side of the beak is a lighter color of the same thing, and then a darker color. So I'm going to draw a line down here. So when we go to paint this, if you're using, say you want your budgie's nose or beak to be a green or a red, you could do a pink here and a red here, a light green or a dark green, and that just kind of gives a little bit of contrast. And then I'm going to do a little circle to remind myself I want a little shiny in my bird's eye, like this. Okay, so now that we're done with this part, what we're going to do is paint our budgies. And I don't have black or white out yet. That's going to be for next week. But for today, we're going to focus on mainly the beak, and then we're going to focus on this bottom part here. So the most important thing at this time is to take your pencil and put it away so it doesn't roll in the paint. Next, for your tables, we got our cups for our table colors. You've got your cup, and then you're going to get a tray that looks like this. So I have several different colors. This is just an extra where some friends mix some extra colors from previous class. What I want you to do is, it's not going to take a lot. We're going to use enough. I'm happy to come around and refill it. But I want you to choose like 4 or 5 colors to kind of paint your bird. And when I paint a budgie, and I'll bring up a picture of Anya Brock's birds to kind of show you that you can add in a variety of colors. You want it to be bright in different pieces, but also think about, when you pet an animal, you're kind of petting down and maybe sometimes a little this way. Follow how you want the body to be. Or just, it's a painting. You can do different geometric chunks. It's completely up to you. So we're only painting the beak and the body down here, not the head and not the eyes. All right, you can get started. so once you've gotten your budgie painted, this is just the bottom layer. We're going to put it on the dry rack. You're going to get your cup nice and clean, and your paints go back to the counter. Wipe down your table, and we'll do the next step later. Once this is dry, you can see mine is still just a little wet, but I wanted to show you once it gets all the way dry, you're going to take out your black. And I'm going to have a few of these for your table, and we're going to use a smaller brush so we can do some nice detailed lines. What we're going to do for the black is we're going to draw over our painting part down here. You can also add a little bit up on the sides if you so want. And then we're going to add in 2 dots for the beak. So the first thing I'm going to have us do before we get crazy and other stuff is I'm going to zoom us in. Right here, I'm going to have you do 2 dots for the beak. So I got 1 and 2. So now my beak is done. And don't worry about where our white is if you cover it, but all I want us to do is we're going to go around it. I'm going to try my best to leave a little bit of the white space, but if you don't, again, that's fine. And I think it just gives it a little bit more character when you have some of it not being like a perfect eye, because thinking about the birds, they have feathers all over their body, and just like animals, when they have hair in their face, you can't always see all the perfect details of the eye. All right, so there's my start, and you don't need a lot on your brush, so I shouldn't see it go all the way up to the middle, but what you're going to do is you're just going to go in and you're going to add in some different lines on top of your budgie. Okay, again, you can have a little bit up more if you wanted to have some of it kind of going onto the face a little bit. That's fine, especially if you did do some colors a little bit above. That's okay too. I just wanted mine to be a little bit more white, similar to what she does in hers. She tends to have her budgies have some color on the heads, but mainly not a lot of it. So all we're going to do is just kind of go in and add in the different lines that you want. You can make patterns, you know, it's really up to you where it can look more like feathers. It could be more abstract, but I want them to be, they're smaller lines, they're closer together, and really, you know, add in some different things just to make it a little bit more like you. You can even do some bigger, you know, blobs like such, similar to what she does. I'll have examples at the table so you can see her work and get inspired by her as well. All right, oops. So my bad, I forgot to zoom out. Anyways, I spent my time going in and I added in all these different little lines like such. And the next thing that we'll do is we're going to then go in with the white. We'll cut our birds out and glue them onto the backing. For this part, what we're going to be doing is using our white, and you're going to start painting the face with the white. I know the paper's white, but we want to still give in some of that brush strokes that we see from our paper. Be very gentle as you go around the eye. You can even go between some of your black lines that you did if you wanted to see some white on top of it. So the goal here is you're going to go over the face, and then the next part is we're going to add some drips. So right at the chin, you're going to get your brush a little extra wet, and you're going to have some white paint on your brush. You'll put some near the bottom of the chin, and you can lift up your paper for it to drip, as well as even just draw your own drips going down the chin. So what we want is it to look a pure white, and that's like that foreground, that front emphasis piece that we want to add to our piece of our budgie bird. For our final part, once this is all dry, you're going to pick a background color that you would like. You need scissors, a glue stick, and obviously a pencil to put your name on your paper. So I recommend once you get your paper, just so you don't forget, you're going to write your name anywhere on the back of it, and then obviously your teacher code, and then you put your pencil away, You get your scissors, you're gonna cut around your budgie to the best of your ability. So you're gonna do your nice cutting skills. Remember, cut, slide, cut, slide, cut, slide. If you ever find it's too much for you, you can always break it up into chunks. So sometimes I like to break up the chunks like that. And then I'm just gonna keep going around like such. Going around our budgie. So it didn't matter if you went outside the lines a little bit. The goal here is just to make a nice clean bird. So now I've got my budgie. Scraps go in the recycle bin. My name is on the back. And the next thing, you know, is you're going to try to match it as best as you can near the bottom of it. So we're not really on the back. Like I never put this directly on the back and then put my bird. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to just put in the corners and I will hold it because it's a thicker piece of paper. So I'm gonna hold this for a little bit so it sticks and it dries right away. I'm gonna go to my next corner and I'm going to put a little bit of the paint right here. I mean paint, oh my goodness, Miss Holland, the glue stick. From here, just finish gluing on the rest of the pieces, put your glue stick away, and turn it into meat.